He held this position until January 2021 when he retired. And after retirement, Your Excellency, he became the Nigerian High Commissioner to Ghana. He held the fort there between 2021 and October 2023. Your Excellency, Vice Admiral Ibas is here today to take his oath of office to take on the job that you have assigned him. At this point, I would like to invite him to stand and come forward.
Vice Admiral retired Ibokete Ibas, do solemnly swear, affirm that I will be faithful and bear true allegiance to the Federal Republic of Nigeria, that I will preserve, protect, and defend the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. So help me God.
Amen.
I, Vice Admiral retired Ibokete Ibas, do solemnly swear and affirm that I will be faithful and bear true allegiance to the Federal Republic of Nigeria, that as Administrator of Rivers State, I will discharge my duties to the best of my ability, faithfully and in accordance with the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria and the law, and always in the interest of the sovereignty, integrity, solidarity, well-being, and prosperity of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, that I will strive to preserve the fundamental objectives of directive principles of state policy contained in the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, that I will exercise the authority vested in me as administrator so as not to impede or prejudice the authority lawfully vested in the President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, and so as not to endanger the continuance of Federal Government of Nigeria, that I will not allow my personal interest to influence my official conduct or my official decisions, that I will, to the best of my ability, preserve, protect, and defend the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, that I will abide by the Code of Conduct contained in the 5th Schedule of the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, that in all circumstances I will do right to all manner of people according to law, without fear or favor, affection or ill will, that I will not directly or indirectly communicate or reveal to any person any matter which shall be brought under my consideration or shall become known to me as administrator of Rivers State, except as may be required for the discharge of my duties as administrator, and that I will devote myself to the service and well-being of the people of Nigeria. So help me God.
Amen.
Good evening, everyone. That is the swearing-in ceremony of the new administrator of Rivers State, Vice Admiral Ekwe Ibas, retired. This evening, I will be having a couple of individuals join me here live on Ginger Media TV virtually. We will be discussing the consequences of the actions of the President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria in the person of Bola Ahmed Tinubu. To discuss this evening, I have a couple of people that will be joining me. But for now, let me quickly bring in someone who many of you will be glad that he is here with us. Joining me here now is Sofri Peterside. Brother, you're welcome to this program.
Thank you very much. I am glad to be here, and I'm always excited when having discussions about the way forward for Nigeria. Thank you, and good evening to all.
Okay. When the president last night, surprisingly, not many people knew what was going to happen. He surprised many Nigerians, myself included, and declared a state of emergency. Since yesterday, almost 24 hours now, Nigeria Nigerians have been speaking about the legality or otherwise of that action. Having listened to various arguments, what is your take? Do you think, or are you of the school of thought that thinks that this action is, is legal, or do you think that is illegality taken too far?
Well, Mazi okay. I always say that what is wrong, no matter how you want to make it look like, no matter the connotation you want to put out there. The handlers of Mr. President or whoever advised him on this measure, I think, got it all wrong. This has never happened before that an executive, without recourse to the legislature or the other arm of government, which is the judiciary, will single handedly sack another chief executive that is
Mm.
duly elected under a democratic framework where we have a constitution that is where that the means or what oils what the means of ousting a sitting governor is well inscribed and in the public know. So there's no way we can say this is right. I think the onus now lies on the presidency to retrace his step if he's actually genuine and do the right thing. Not just for us today, not just because it suits us or it suits you, whoever is taking that decision now, but because we are setting a very wrong precedent. We have become the laughing stock of in the international community. We are still perpetuating ourselves as the comedy nation of this world. What is going on? We have lost our values. It is high time people come out and speak up. This is wrong, not just for
If
the today Nigerian, but for posterity as well.
if I may borrow the words of Patrick Obiagbon, isn't this a case of political higgy haga, political barakboism? A case where people, someone has the upper hand. If you talk about Wike and talk about Fubara, isn't that a case of a godfather and a son that somewhat gone sour to the point that now the governor has been suspended with the house of with the members of the house on Twitter earlier. Some people were arguing that this is a case that is actually in favor of the governor of Rivers State, that the president did this to save him from impeachment. Do you see any truth in this?
Impeachment is, for me, it's a tall order. And I wouldn't want us to, I wouldn't want to look at this from that prison point, from that point of view. Reasons being that that will be too. Um, I think we should look at this holistically. How it affects the nation, how it affects our democracy, how it affects the tomorrow person. Well, just to answer a bit of your question, I don't see how it is going to help Mr. Fubara. because the truth be told, the young man duly followed all that he was advised to do by the president in the first instance. By recalling the commissioners, remember, at the time, well, the back and forth in their embassy politically ensued. Then came the four-man assembly versus 17 men on the other side.
Mm.
Now, Supreme Court gave her verdict. Go and submit the budget, appropriation bills and all, which he ventured into. In the process, he was shot out of the assembly gate, and of course, every other thing that happened is in the public know. That is on one side. I don't have any problem with that. That could be a father and son, as you said, or a boy and master relationship and all that. But let us look at how this grinds into the fabric of our polity. That's my concern. That tomorrow, Dr. Sofri Peterside can be a president, and by virtue of what I want, I can raise a crony in your state, probably Plateau State, or probably Kano State, and say, please, I need some rumbles there so that I can step in and call in unilaterally a state of emergency. And now, force on the people, an administrator, a sole administrator. So what we have in River State, if I must say it the way it is that we have a judiciary that was left behind and an administrator.
Mm.
That is more or less the long arm or the other arm of the presidency. Because again, remember, the president himself said that the National Executive Council will henceforth start making laws for the people of River State. Whereas I voted for my representative, regardless of which party takes in the whole political drama. And I voted for him because I believe that he will speak for me. So as it stands now, who speaks for me? I voted for a governor by the rights and tenets of our constitution. As it stands now, he's no longer going to administer. Meaning the people are shortchanged. Overall, I dare tell you that if this stands, then it's a very, very
You know, I think your network is
bad precedence and will spell doom for the
okay.
future of our democracy. So it's a big concern, and I think people should speak out and let the
Okay.
world know what is going on here.
You know, you keep saying if this stands, and that some would say it's already happened because the governor has been suspended, the House members suspended, the deputy governor suspended, sole administrator sworn in. And before now, we'd seen these swearing in here. Once more, let's have a recap.
And foster unity in Rivers State. At the presidential villa in Abuja, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu has officially inaugurated Vice Admiral Ibok Ete Ekwe Ibas, retired, as the new administrator of Rivers State. During the brief but significant ceremony, President Tinubu emphasized the importance of this assignment, entrusting Vice Admiral Ibas with the critical responsibility of restoring peace and stability to Rivers State. Speaking shortly after taking the oath of office, Vice Admiral Ibok Abbas acknowledged the magnitude of the task ahead and pledged to prioritize law, order, and security in the state. First of all, I think we know the circumstances that have led to where we are here. Mr. President made it very clear in his broadcast, if the main issue is that of maintaining law and order in the state, then that is the utmost task. I have to work together with all stakeholders to ensure that we bring peace, order, and stability to the people and government of Rivers State and Nigeria at large. With high expectations from Nigerians, Vice Admiral Ibas steps into this new role with a mandate to restore normalcy and foster unity in Rivers State.
Now, because the reason why I endeavored to play this once more is that, looking at this, one would understand that the deed has been done. And you keep making reference, if this stands, and you can see it is already standing. Do you think there is anything that can happen that would make this not to stand?
Okay. I started off by saying that what is wrong is wrong. So we have situations where you have things that are literally happening. And that same situation could also as well be could as well have its apparent mirroring part. How do I mean? Physically, the state grabbing has been done. But again, in our minds, at the back of our head, is it right? That's very, very important. So allowing it stand is accepting it the way it is, hook, line, and sinker. When I say allowing it stand, accepting it, we go, okay, it has happened, okay, there's nothing we can do about it. Let's just leave it.
Okay. I think at this point, I don't know, I think Comrade Delia Jufo's connection is really terrible because he comes in and he goes out. Let's say I wanted to bring him on at this point to see if he agrees or tend to agree with you on the trajectory. We also have someone here who has also joined us. I do not know. Emmanuel, are you ready? Okay. So I think Elder, are you there?
I can't see anything, but I can hear you distinctly.
Well, we can see you. Go ahead. Let me push this question to you.
Maybe
Mr.
Maybe the village people are after me today.
Let me push this question to you if you can hear me loud and clear.
I can hear you.
Yeah. Mr. Peter Side is advocating that the masses should not allow this to stand. And I said, since the new administrator has already taken oath of office today, that the deed has already been done. What's your take? Do you think there is any way that what some consider an abnormality that has happened in Rivers State can be reversed?
I think what Tinubu is doing is nothing but state capture. It is continuing unabated. It is highly political. Earlier on today, I had a meeting with some people and I advocated those of us, the electorate, must now hold our representatives accountable. If they fail to do the needful, they will have us to contend with in our various constituencies. Tinubu can do what he likes. What he has done is madness, absolute madness. He has no right to do what he has done. He has no constitutional powers to execute what he did yesterday. But it behooved the National Assembly to call him to order. But I begin to wonder, is it those snake charmers and harlots of Jericho that we have in the National Assembly that will take responsibility to rescue this country? I find it difficult to believe. But there again lies the power of the people. If we refuse to accept what Tinubu has done, it is our representatives that will call him to order. There's nothing you can do to Tinubu. He's not from River State, a man who openly called out a governor and allowed his attack dog to call a governor a despot. I don't see any better despot in Nigeria than Wike and perhaps the president himself. People who act with impunity.
You know,
The constitution is quite clear on how you remove a governor. So what they're doing is because they have the military might. But
yeah,
the
but
military might,
you
yes.
you've somewhat laid these the solution, or at the foot of the National Assembly. Earlier today in Abuja, at the Three Arms Zone, at the Federal Capital Territory, the Senate sat, but at some point the Senate moved their further deliberations to tomorrow in order for them to attend some committee issues. That means the state of the emergency session in River State was never attended today.
Well,
Considering that, hold on, considering that Senator Natasha has been suspended for 6 months, bearing in mind that some argue that the Senate is a house of rubber stampers, do you have any faith that the National Assembly is going to make any ratification or stand up against what you may perceive as injustice to the people of River State?
I don't have faith in the members of the National Assembly unless we call them to order. If they
And how do we
cannot
do
be
that?
allowed, well, if I have a representative and he does not vote in favor of the masses, he may not come back to my constituency. And we're going to try and arouse our people to ensure that we hold them accountable. If you are representing me in the Senate and the House and you do not see sense to vote against this madness, then may rest assured that we'll deal with you appropriately if you come home. So they probably remain in Abuja. And I'm advocating that every electorate in each constituency of the Federal Republic of Nigeria will see sense. Because what we're doing is keeping quiet. That's how Hitler started. He will come for one person and he will go for the next and the next. Today it is Rivers. Why is it Rivers? It's state capture, my dear friend. It has nothing to
Suffrage.
do with it. State capture.
Okay.
If
Suffrage, do you agree with that?
if please let me land, please.
Yeah.
If the president in his assertion alluded to bombing of the pipeline, that is a failure on the part of the executive, because the executive awarded a 500 billion contract to
For
monitor
pipeline
the
protection.
pipeline,
Yeah.
to protect and monitor the pipeline. It has nothing to do with the governor. So why are they blaming if it is true? Because stories have come out that there was no pipeline bombing, that it was the
The
police
police
said it was a
report
bush
said it
fire,
was fire
whatever,
incident. Yeah.
fire in the bush. So on what basis is he declaring state of emergency? We have hunger in the land. The Fulani herdsmen are killing our people, raping our people, enough to declare state of emergency in the security sector. There is starvation in the land, enough to declare state of emergency in the food sector. Not to talk about health. I went to visit a friend in the hospital in Asaba 3 days ago. I couldn't breathe. It's a federal medical center. Abysmal situation. So we have people who do not care about you and I. All they care for is their stomach. Now, let me digress a little bit. Recently, the government said they're not going to sell petrol to Dangote in Naira. And you passed a bill that we must not dollarize anything in Nigeria. So on what basis are you going to sell petrol to Dangote in dollars? For him to pay you dollars to buy what we own locally? These are mad people in government, my friend. We don't have leaders. We have charlatans. snake charmers, and harlots of Jericho. And something has to be done.
Okay, thank you very much, Audada. Sofri, do you agree with him that we need to hold our representatives accountable? Maybe in the words of the former governor of Rivers State, that is the reoccurring decimal, Right Honorable Rotimi Chibika Mechi, who told Nigerians that because we do not use stones enough on them, that's why they keep doing what they are doing. Do you agree with that school of thought?
Yeah, I want to add to what Elder has just said, using an adjective to qualify the people in power. For me, I think they are all pretenders. They are all pretenders. When people try to portray themselves as what they are not, that's the kind of leaders we have here. People that are without conscience, that can easily swallow their own vomitus. How be it that a certain president sometime declared a state of emergency in this country where people were being killed, maimed, ousted from their various homes and communities. A certain Goodluck Jonathan declared a state of emergency, leaving behind, not touching the chief executive of that state, not touching the chairman or the assembly members of that state. However, the president cried foul to the hill, the mountains, called him out. Then you are doing exactly the same thing at this point, worse than what you are crying foul about. That's the kind of narrative we have here. So you see, when we have situations like this and people don't speak out, gradually, like Elder just said, your civil rights become impugned on and becomes eroded, by the continuous oppressive tendencies of these persons. That you didn't do anything about it now. Who knows? A week after today, a month after today, probably to be Delta State. Then any state I don't like as a president goes under my belt because the president has been set by this instance in River State.
Okay.
That is the very, that in fact to me that is cardinal and primary in all these narratives.
Okay.
About what the people representing us, the assembly members, the legislators, the House of Rep members, and the Senate, calling them back as the masses, is it practicable? I wish it is. I wish it is. But if we can stand resolute as a people and say that this is what we want within our constituency, within our states, within our zone, then I think that will be more resounding. We should be able to find a way, devise a means to hold them accountable. Because this is travesty. As far as I'm concerned, a certain people have committed treasonable acts by what they've done. And we must be heard.
Okay. I think we have Emmanuel there. Emmanuel, can you hear us? Emmanuel, can you hear us? Okay. I think we can't really hear him. Now, let's go back a little bit before we start winding up. Let's go back a little bit. What's actually the genesis of this whole, madness, if I may borrow that from you, saying that this is whole madness. Let's listen to this and let me have your reaction.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the grandest stage of all, where power is the prize, betrayal is the script, and the people, well, they're just the audience. Rivers State, one of Nigeria's wealthiest, most powerful states, a land blessed with oil resources and hard-working people. But instead of good governance, we get a high-stakes political thriller. The script as old as Nigerian politics itself. Godfather picks godson, godson gains power, godfather demands loyalty, godson rebels. Boom, chaos erupts. When Nyesom Wike, then governor of Rivers State, appointed Siminalayi Fubara as its successor, he likely believed he was securing long-term political control. Instead, Rivers State became the battleground for power struggle of epic proportions. The Rivers State House of Assembly chambers were destroyed, factional lawmakers held parallel sessions, and legal battles dragged on. Now, the latest twist. On March 18, 2025, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu declared a state of emergency in Rivers State, suspending the governor, deputy governor, and all lawmakers due to the escalating political crisis. Retired Vice Admiral Ibok Ete Ekwe Ibas has been appointed as a caretaker to manage the state of.
Okay, now, key point that I want to take away from here is there appears to be an agreement between the godson and the godfather. But along the line, something went sour. Now, the question that I want to put to you, Elder Deli Ajufo, is this politics of godfatherism going to be, in your view, the arbiters of the nascent democracy? You think it's hurting democracy more than it's helping democracy in this part of the world?
You see, we've always dwelt on this issue of Godfather and Godson. I hate that word. There ought not to be something like that in a democracy. You may prop somebody up, you may support somebody. It happens all over the world. But that doesn't give you control over their life and all of how they control the affairs of the state in the event that they emerge. And I blame the media in this country for harping on that stupid language of Godfather and Godson. They should kill it. There's another language that the media uses in this country. When people are appointed to very sensitive and important positions, they allude to the fact that the person is appointed to juicy office, enabling them to know that there's money there to go and steal. The media is culpable, totally culpable. So that word should be killed in this country. We don't need it. And that you help me to become governor doesn't mean that I should give you the resources of the state to manage. My responsibility is to the electorate. They elected me, if they elected me. Let me tell you, Mazi is okay. The fight in Rivers State is not about good governance. We're looking beyond now. We're looking at 2027. Because they have realized, Fagbemi today, that is Attorney General, said that what the president did is to save Fubara from impeachment. Let me tell you, my friend, the articles of impeachment against Fubara would have been dead on arrival because the state governor, the state chief judge would never have pandered to their whims. And they realized that it was impossible to use that route to remove Fubara, hence the what do you call it? State of emergency. There's no way they could have succeeded in impeaching Fubara. And I think people should rise up against this nonsense. Otherwise, we'll die slaves. I've witnessed government from Tafawa Balewa to this date. I've never seen it this bad. Even when Tafawa Balewa in 1960, whatever, suspended Akintola when he had problem with Fagbero, he had the power enshrined in the 1960 Constitution. Our current Constitution forbids you from doing what you are doing, and it's going on regardless. And we're just laughing. Like Sofri said now, he's doing it in Osun State. I'm sure you know that. He's creating problem in Osun State. Because Osun State is a PDP state. They have succeeded in routing PDP in Edo State. In my state, hopefully, Delta, they might create problem, but that will be the albatross because Delta State is a microcosm of Nigeria, where you don't have what do you call it, homogeneous tribe. So it's going to be difficult to achieve the nonsense they're achieving in River State. But my fear is this: if we allow this to fester, the Ijaws in River State will see this as an Igbo man in River State trying to scuttle the turn of an Ijaw man in River State. And that relationship between Ijaws and Igbos in River State that has been so cordial over the years will be scuttled. We don't look
But how does
beyond.
no? But sorry, sir. But how does Igbo come into this play?
Let
How
me tell
does
you
Igbo
why.
come
Because
even into the
whether you like it
conversation?
or not, I deliberately brought that up because I knew you would be against it. What's his name? This rascal that is causing problem. Wiki. What's his first name? Yes, he's an Igbo man, no matter
But
what he says.
but he has said he's not Igbo. He's Ikwere. Ikwere is not Igbo.
What you say is different from what you are. I'm not a thief doesn't mean I'm not a thief. Do you understand? We know what he is. When it suits him, he's an Igbo man. Earlier on in his life, it suited him that he was an Igbo man. Now, because of politics, he's no longer one. People from his clan are Igbos. So I'm conscious
Anyway,
of I'm conscious of what I'm saying. He must not create that problem, and that man should be called to order. When you see him talk, he doesn't talk like a normal human being. For God's sake, how long are we going to have charlatans rule us? Does it sound normal to you on TV?
okay. Now let's Sofri, let me come to here. Earlier today, we saw this video from Nigerian actress Ibinabo Fiber Sima, who said the following. I want you to, yeah, I want you to have a reaction to
Finally.
this.
And then today you come out and you see army people driving around like there's something going on that is wrong. This is not right. This is not right. We are at peace. Let our children, let our families be at peace. Let people go to work at peace. All these army people driving about, this is not right. This is not right. This is not right. Our governor is peaceful. We love him. Leave us in peace. What is all this? Emotion is not in politics, we agree. But we want peace. We want peace. Is it too much to us? This is not right. This is not fair. This is not right. I moved back to this state. I ran away before.
So, you know what? You hear what she said, that she moved back to the state. She ran away from the River State before, but since the inception of Fubara, she came back and River State had remained safe. In her view, this, what she considered now, will make the state unsafe. Do you agree with her line of thinking?
Well, when you have a situation where um, each morning you wake up, you open your doors to the sweet embrace of the sweet your sweet environment, the air, the aura around you, and just at the snap of a finger, the next morning you have a militarized environment. That tells you what the difference is. In her narrative, streets are littered with military. Our children can no longer walk freely. We don't have any um, situation here that warranted all this. We are not at war, not even a cult clash. Most of the cults ceased, now collapsed themselves and became brothers in this state, not even in our various institutions. Because, leadership is critical and very important in every narrative.
Mhm.
People tend to, it has a way of having a rub-off of both in character and in deeds. Sin came, meek, gentle, and the environment imbibed that virtue. You heard her. Ibinabo Fubara, a renowned Nollywood actress. She left the state. She said she came back. We are hearing several incidents of explosion here, explosion there. Be it true, we may not know. But again, when you get the wind of that kind of information, what does it do? It makes you anxious. It drives fear into your body. You become agitated. And of course, where you have 2, 3, 4 majority having that kind of feeling, what does it present? A society that is restive or is unsure. So if people, you see, yesterday, for instance, I have a friend that works in a radio station. There's this taxi man that usually comes around to pick him after his late shift around 11. Yesterday, he had to call me up to come and pick him because the man said he cannot come out that night because of the narrative out there. So, by every measure, I can say this over and over and again, there was no need for this state of emergency.
Absolutely.
As Elder, our elder just said, Mr. President is the commander-in-chief of the armed forces. It is his responsibility to protect, commandeer the armed forces, the police, and all that. That a certain explosion happens somewhere and you have contracted people to take care of that, to take care of that responsibility, and it has failed, more or less have a huge rub-off on you. The state governors are called chief security officer of their states, but they don't even control common civil defense. So it will not be the responsibility of a governor if things that has to do with insecurity happens around him, when he doesn't have his full grasp of the security architecture. This is still this same governor that was shot at a point in time in this country. Still the same governor that on international media platform, we saw water, hot water, pressure water was used on him on the streets of Port Harcourt. If he has the wherewithal, if he has that capacity to control the security architecture, that wouldn't have happened. Of course, that power is void when it comes to the roles of the governor. So we are asking and appealing to our leaders. Let peace reign. River State has been enjoying peace. We've been enjoying peace for a very long time. This, to us, is a strange feeling. It's
okay.
Really strange feeling.
So quickly, let me bring another actress in, whom many of us know. We did expect that she would have joined us, obviously, because of what's happening, being busy and a lot of other things. So, but let's take, her view as regards to what is happening in River State. Then that would help us prepare for the next round of this.
Now you have crippled people, and all we see is What for? Because of one man? I will say it over and over and over. What's going on in Rivers State is not similar in Fubara. What's going on in Rivers State is a comeback for the economic soul of Rivers State. Somebody wants to grab the economic soul of Rivers State. The soul of Rivers State, for 24 years, they kept milking us. That was how our money was flying all over our heads. It is here today, it is there tomorrow. It is funding all kinds of foolishness. This is the first time that civil servants have been paid the 13 months. Every Christmas for 2 years, civil servants get paid. Civil servants have been paid all their salaries. For the first time, there are roads connecting the riverine communities. It has never happened. They told us, they lied to us, they told us our terrain was too bad. Now we know our terrain is not bad. Now we know. He told us that we can have election here, and it can be any way but no war, no bloodshed, no gun shooting. And it happened here. And it happened here. Today you have told everybody to go. He says yes. You say go and resubmit a budget. He writes, he says, come and choose with me a befitting place that you want so that I can present this budget. You made it impossible for him. He wrote, I am coming to you. You locked him out. He wrote again to say, I will still come again. And you wrote to him as reply that for insubordination or whatever. And then the next thing you do is this.
So, watching this, she praised Fubara. She talks about the good things Fubara has done. Looking at that, it appears that alluding to what Diokpa said before, that people should come out and defend their rights. Isn't that what is happening in Rivers State, Elder Delejifo?
Well, that's the start of it. You see, people, those whom the gods want to destroy, they first make mad. Wike has been carrying on as if he owns Rivers State. The man should be called to order, but because of the services he rendered to Tinubu during the last election, which is an open secret to everybody, the president never got 10% of Rivers' votes. We all know that. Wike made sure he gave him the vote. He carried it virtually and gave it to him. So it's payback time. I went to Port Harcourt recently. The assets that were being ascribed to this man, if he had worked and earned ₦1 million every day of his life, he would not acquire them. I blame Fubara because if I was the governor of Rivers State, and you try to mess up with me from day one, you'll be in the clink to explain where you got all the money for those assets. It's obvious how he acquired them. We know the man's background. He's not from a wealthy home, a motor park tout, favored by posterity, and you cannot even be humble about it.
Well,
Man,
I doubt.
There's something about, let me finish. There's something about upbringing in a man's life. When you do not expect to be somewhere and you get there, it fills your mind. He's been rude to Jonathan, to Odili, to Rotimi Amechi. Now, who else is left politically in Rivers State for him to defer to? The man is living like an incubus. He should be called to order. And if I was a Rivers State man, I'll stay in that place. He will not come back to that Rivers State.
Okay. Now, before we round up on this, there are two videos that really caught our attention. One is this by TVC that spoke about before yesterday. They discussed this, and this is what these journalists had to say.
Emergency. Based on the 1999 Constitution, you cannot have a state of emergency that will send a governor packing, that will send elected representatives of the people at the state level packing for a period of time. That was an antiquated law. Nigerians will have challenged Obasanjo that this law does not exist. But he used it in a number of states. An illegal law was used to send fellowship parking. There is no such thing. And I still hear people say, declare state of emergency. Nobody can declare a state of emergency in Nigeria currently, because we now know the law, although many people don't know. You can't declare a state of emergency and send a governor or House of Assembly members packing. No. Elected representatives of the people cannot be suspended from office in that manner, whereby you say all elected representatives, you are dissolving all political structures. 1999 Constitution does not prescribe that. Okay. What the 1999 Constitution precises in the state of emergency is that during that period, yes, you can arrest people for 90 days without trial. And good Lord Jonathan did that in Borno State. Okay. And after a while, even the National Assembly got tired. They said, no, this state of emergency cannot continue. You can't have a state of emergency that sacks people from their elective positions.
Okay, so that was yesterday before the presidential speech. Then after the presidential speech, it earlier. Now, okay, so hear this.
I've said it earlier. Wujide have found the courage to say this. These are people who do not know us, who sit on social media saying all kinds of things about us. We have disagreed with the president a number of times. Yes. I can give instances. When the government tried to make universities a revenue generating centers, we opposed it, and the idea was stopped. So it's not every time that we agree with the president. I've not seen that president that we as journalists on this program will constantly support an idea coming from him. So it's not a case of, oh, if he had said it earlier, I would have been forced to support. Of course, I'm entitled to my own opinion, and that was what I expressed yesterday. But we cannot dismiss the fact that the president was pushed to take extraordinary measures. Now, it is left for the representatives of the Nigerian people, the Senate and the House of Reps, to either support the action that the president has taken or refuse to support. But the rest of us, we have no power. We can talk from now till kingdom come. We have no power to say, no, you cannot do this, or to stop him. No. Okay. The representatives of Nigerian people, the Senate.
Okay, so 2 days ago, he was against, he marshaled out his convictions as to the reason why there should not be state of emergency. Now he's trying to rationalize that. However, earlier in the day, we also heard from Arise TV, and I think I want you to, both of you will respond to this together. We'll lump it into two. We'll lump it together. I want you to listen to this also carefully. The words used by Ruben Abati here to describe what has happened in Rivers.
Very quickly, let me first come in from an interpretation of the Constitution, which the president himself highlighted. He said he was acting within the purview of Section 305 of the Constitution. Section 305 of the Constitution explains the circumstances under which the president shall declare a state of emergency. And the conditions are properly stated. If the country is facing a threat of war or imminent war, is Nigeria facing the threat of war in Rivers State? That's one question. It also talks about, a situation whereby something could happen in any part of the Federation where, Nigeria could find itself in a chaotic situation. The president is required to act. Number 3, where the governor in that particular state does not immediately respond, to the crisis situation and does not approach the president to act in the national interest. So those conditions are properly spelled out. However, that same Section 305 says that the president, will give a proclamation which will be gazetted, and then we'll go to the National Assembly, and the National Assembly, if it's in session within, 48 hours, would act. If it's in recess, within 10 days, will act. If the National Assembly does not consider that particular proclamation, gazetted proclamation, valid, then it will vote otherwise. 2/3 majority of the two houses, the Senate and the House of Representatives. And if that happens, the decision is abated. Okay? Now, because we are constrained by time, let me now say that Section 3005, which the president quoted, is the operative principle. Now, let's look at what the president said. I think that the president has violated the Constitution, even within the purview of Section 305. And he has violated the Constitution because he was not properly advised to respect that section of the Constitution. In what regard did he violate that section of the Constitution? In fact, he acted as the dictator by saying that the administrator that he has appointed can make regulations and laws will be made for the River State House of Assembly henceforth by the Federal Executive Council. The Federal Executive Council does not have such powers. Section 11 of the same Constitution says that, look, when there is a state of emergency, it's only the National Assembly that can make laws for a state House of Assembly. Now, President Tinubu has appropriated unto himself the powers to make laws for the River State House of Assembly. That's an impeachable offense.
So that is an impeachable offense. That's where I wanted us to land. Elder Dele Ajufo.
Yeah.
If I know if I give you the power, you could actually impeach him you could impeach the president. But but I do not think you have such powers. Now, Sofri, looking at the two videos that I played, Babajide Otitoju, who yesterday, 5 p.m. Nigerian time during journalist hangout, laid out how the president cannot, engage in the actions that he has just done. And today, defending same action by saying, well, it is now left for the National Assembly to stop him. Listening to Ruben Abati, who now says that the president has acted outside the ambit of the law, that actually that is an impeachable offense. What's your take?
When you speak the truth, you don't flutter. It just comes out. And that was what you saw in Abati's speech. He was just straight to the point, not trying to rub it in or to make it look cozy and all that. Now, Babajide is an interesting analyst, social analyst, and I give it to him. Very interesting when listening to him. But lately, public perception about him has really changed, and I think he's actually struggling with that. He just said something, and a few hours later, he's trying to make it sound different. Tells you a whole lot about what has happened to his persona, as it were. Again, remember that TVC is a pro Tinubu radio TV outfit.
Pro or owned?
Well, I don't know because I have not seen the. I think pro is safer to say pro because if you analysis and all that, that's the way it goes. So there goes the saying that who pays the piper what dictates is
the turn.
so that's exactly what is going on or what has gone down there. Absurd and It's a shame. It's a shame. I
Okay.
think Babajide should retrace his path and come back to the warm embrace of the
The
masses.
path of honor.
Okay. Elder Delia Jufo, we're rounding up now. What's your take finally on the two
Well,
clips we played
I,
earlier?
I do believe you should be able to. You've known me so long, you know where I stand. Babajide's flip flop is not unexpected. Like Sophie said, he who pays the piper dictates the tune. He was emphatic about the actions of the president, how he can act in the case of emergency 2 days ago or yesterday, and today he's saying something different. Like I said earlier on, the press is a problem in this society, and Fayoshe will call it stomach infrastructure. I will call it lack of credibility. As for Abati and his submission, I have the same feeling because now when I heard this morning that even the president said that the new administrator in River State will make laws or regulations, whatever they call them, and submit to the Federal Executive Council people who were never elected by anybody, most of all Rivers indigents, to ratify. I said, this man has gone crazy with power. But I still had this belief somehow that will prevail on the minority in the National Assembly because APC does not have absolute majority. And to achieve two-thirds majority, it will be it's a Herculean task. But my brother, money talks. They say something else works. Because those characters there, we don't have, you call them a rubber stamp National Assembly. Akpabio is the worst Senate president we've had ever. The man is undisciplined, unhinged, unintelligent, and lacks character. So I don't see that anything good will come out of there. He's not good. A man who tells people to suffer while they enjoy cannot be expected to make good sense out of a situation we find ourselves. So
Okay.
while I pray that some of those people in the National Assembly may see sense in just a few of them, because two-thirds majority is a Herculean task. If they succeed in this, then it's non-dimittis for democracy in Nigeria, really.
Okay. Thank you very much. That's a very fine place to anchor it. Thank you, both of you, for joining me this evening. It's a pleasure having you both.
God
Thank you,
bless you.
Master. Thank you, Master.
Thank you very much. So, everyone, thank you very much. That's the much we can take on the story still developing in River State. As we said at the beginning, the new sole administrator in River State was earlier today at the presidential villa in Abuja sworn in. He has taken the oath of office, and the allocations accruable to River State that was withheld, by as a result of the Supreme Court judgment, has now today been released to that state. And some individuals are now arguing on the Twitter street that it appears that that money is going to be shared by those who act as godfathers and have their eyes on the purse of that state. Bear in mind that earlier today, before we came on, the former governor of that state, Right Honorable Rotimi Chibike Amechi, was furious also and issued a statement condemning the actions of the President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria in the person of Bola Ahmed Tinubu, saying that this action will and must not stand. The PDP, that is the People's Democratic Party, also issued a statement earlier condemning the actions of the federal government led by Bola Ahmed Tinubu on the actions taken in River State and also the revocation of their secretariat in Abuja Central District. Recall that yesterday, Yeson Wike, the Minister of the Federal of the Federal Capital Territory revoked PDP's C of O, saying that they are owing the Federal Capital Territory, therefore their C of O has been revoked. Recall that he has had a running battle with the party. Many question, why is it that the party cannot sanction him to leave that party? As the story in Rivers State unfolds, stay tuned with us here at Ninja Media TV. We will be bringing you updates as they happen. For now, please like, share, and subscribe. I am your host, Mazi Ezoke. Good night as we sign off.